Hello, our friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family.
Hello there. Welcome back.
Welcome back, guys. So we're going to talk about some mysterious deaths and missing people, and it keeps expanding. But first, I just wanted to show you guys over on Heart's Ohm, where we did a video over there. Please do make sure you are subscribed over there. Of course, if you're on Patreon, everything comes up on that one spot. This was about emotional overload incoming. Yeah, there's some amazing info in here and connections I've never heard anyone ever know of. It's just mind-blowing sometimes the information that we get from the guides. It's just wild times. And right next to it, galactic message, brace yourselves, CERN-like Martian energies incoming. Oh man, this is really some wild stuff over there. Again, we want to thank everybody for their support on Patreon, also with YouTube memberships and Ko-Fi. We couldn't do it without you guys. What are we looking at over here? Well, here we're looking at the U.S. Space and Rocket Center, Redstone Arsenal. You can see Huntsville, Alabama. We were talking about these dead and missing people. It's just been a list that keeps growing. Well, the list has grown again, but it's not a new death that we're talking about. This one is one we've talked about before. Space scientists found dead after warning, "My life in danger," becomes the 11th mysterious case as Trump vows answers. Again, it almost feels like there's these two groups that are very much like a cartel, and they are fighting each other, at least outwardly appearing to fight each other, and trying to tattle on the other side and spill the beans. But is it all just a controlled release narrative of certain information? A space scientist in the U.S. has been found dead after she warned, "My life is in danger," in the latest mysterious case. 11 people working close to U.S. space programs have now died or gone missing recently. Trump is vowing to uncover the truth. That's what he says. This is Amy Eskridge. She was 34. She allegedly died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound to the head, Huntsville, Alabama, June 11th, 2022. 2022 was an interesting year. Again, the Pluto return. The U.S. is being redesigned, and we know it's not going to stay the same. So we can see, again, the people connected with NASA, Frank Mywald, Carl Grillmeyer over here, those two, and then we have Monica Reza, Michael Hicks. We see missing dead over here, Los Alamos Lab, Melissa Casillas and Anthony Chavez. Then we see William Neal McCasland, who is missing. Cindy was able to remote view him, and all she gets is that he is alive, but he's basically somewhere locked up. And then Amy Eskridge, the Institute for Exotic Science, is the latest one they've connected to this. You can see the Wright-Patterson Air Force Base connection, Jason Thomas, a Novartis biologist, and Nuno Loureiro, MIT, found dead. Well, President Trump says he will aim to provide answers in the next week and a half after he left a top-secret meeting on the topic. Among the 11 people includes powerful space researchers, from retired Air Force major generals to workers who help deflect asteroids from hitting Earth. NASA, Los Alamos, MIT, and Caltech employees are all among the mystery cases. The latest person to be identified, Amy Eskridge, 34, who allegedly died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound to the head, Huntsville, Alabama, June 11th, 2022. Before her death, she was investigating and helping to develop anti-gravity technology. Very, very dangerous thing to be delving into when we understand how the control system works. Again, we definitely do not need to be using gas and oil powered engines. That's a reality. There's been tons of patents applied for anti-gravity tech. There are engines that run on water and a whole array of things. And yet here we are still using that which is probably the most toxic and the most controllable, and really the bigger point is maybe the most profitable for certain people. Public details of an official investigation into her suicide have never been released, sparking questions: why did she take her own life? Conspiracy theories, and let's just preface this by saying, give me any conspiracy theories that have been proven wrong, list them on one side. On the other side, conspiracy theories proven right. You're going to have a column of conspiracy theories proven right that's going to be so much longer than the ones proven wrong. In fact, I don't know any that have been proven wrong. Her dad, Amy's dad, Richard, was a retired NASA engineer, and the pair founded the Institute for Exotic Science. The company was public-facing persona to disclose anti-gravity technology unassociated with NASA. She said in a 2020 interview, "If you stick your neck out in public, at least somebody notices if your head gets chopped off. If you stick your neck out in private, they will bury you. They will burn down your house while you're sleeping in bed and won't even make the news. That's why the Institute exists." That's a pretty big statement. Before her death, she also contacted retired British intelligence officer Frank Milburn for help investigating harassment claims. She claimed she was the victim of intimidation tactics, including physical attacks involving energy weapons, which do exist, according to Milburn. A public hearing in the months after her death also saw journalist Michael Schellenberger testify that she was murdered. Eskridge was murdered by a private aerospace company. She was the first of 5 prominent researchers to die in the past 4 years. This is MIT professor of physics Nuno Loureiro, shot dead in his own home in Brookline, Massachusetts. He was 47. Caltech astrophysicist Carl Grillmere, 67, was gunned down in an unprovoked attack in his home, California, February 16th this year. Over here, we have Jason Thomas, pharmaceutical researcher testing cancer treatments at Novartis, died after being found face down in a lake in March. And again, the most publicized death was MIT professor of physics Nuno Loureiro, shot dead in his own home, again, assassinated on December 15th, 2025, as officials pinned the blame on gunman Claudio Neves Valente, a former classmate from Portugal. Valente was also accused of carrying out a shooting at Brown University just 2 days earlier. Caltech astrophysicist Carl Grillmere also gunned down again. You could see, this is obviously a cover-up. It's pretty obvious. You have this pair, Michael David Hicks and Frank Maywald, both died from unknown circumstances. They worked at the U.S. Space Agency's Jet Propulsion Lab in California, with Maywald, 61, being the lead researcher on a breakthrough project around detecting clear signs of life on other worlds. Months before his passing, Hicks, 59, also died after leaving NASA's DART project, which tested if humans could deflect dangerous asteroids away from Earth's path. That's General McCaslin there. And his former colleague, Aerojet Rocketdyne materials scientist Monica Reza, 60, went missing June 2025 after just going on a hike. Now, McCaslin vanished during a New Mexico hike February 27, 2026, with sources close to McCaslin saying he was a gatekeeper and participant in the UFO community. Despite extensive searches aided by drones, helicopters, ground crews, and canine units, they'd never found him. He was a man with some of the most sensitive secrets of the United States. Again, these people, they knew too much about something that the dark, what you want to call them, dark cabal. I mean, the secret societies, they don't want coming out quite yet. Or is this something different? Are they really trying to get our attention to give us something that maybe will be a little bit of a red herring and then lead us down a road to keep us confused for a while longer? Meanwhile, this is serious stuff. I mean, it's obvious there's something huge going on here. And I've watched this interview, a 3-hour interview, alleged messages from Amy Eskridge, her discussing anti-gravity research, UAP disclosure plans, fears of target harassment. She claims she was being surveilled and threatened with directed energy weapons, similar to Havana syndrome, and detailed her strategy to create a public-facing persona via her company, the Institute for Exotic Science, to protect her work and ensure her voice was heard if it was silenced. And some observers describe her demeanor in the video as nervous or potentially influenced by substances. She explicitly warned that her life was in danger and that her research was being suppressed. And, you could see she was off. She was really off. It almost felt like an interview that you might have at a bar with somebody that had a few too many, but really was, terrified.
Well, fear kind of does that to you when they do certain things to you, and the goal is to really get you kind of popped out of your zone and get you to behave in a way where, if she now shows herself in public, people are going to say, wow, she's really off. They do it on purpose. They get people really wound up, upset, and then they go in for harming them. And it's a very real thing, and it's a serious thing, because if they can't keep you suppressed, which they do, and they try, and they do, and they try, then they just go in and do that, and it's definitely a concern for many out there. We're trying to get the truth out there, and it's definitely not an easy or safe thing to do these days.
Yeah, you go over the past 33 months, there's always these things. Here is the interview. Again, very nervous. Obviously, real fear there. It's interesting. Holocron Engineering, anti-gravity research and development company, co-founded and led by Amy Eskridge and her father, Richard Eskridge, who also worked for NASA engineer and CTO, specializing in gravity modification, superconductors, gravitomagnetism, electroceramics, and presented claims in 2018 regarding historical and contemporary experiments involving triangular anti-gravity vehicles known as TR-3B, which also do contain weaponry. And we just say this from our own experience because we have been tailed by a TR-3B. And actually it was in Mississippi, and it was in the Hattiesburg area where we were looking to try to find a place to homestead. It ended up, again, we lost Zeke. He had tumors. Sassy ended up with growths. Cindy did have growths. And it took everything we had to keep Cindy alive, literally, after being exposed and having one of these triangles follow us for several miles. On a road right next to the military base in Hattiesburg. We were making our way with our trailer to a place to camp. And it was coincidentally when we made our way and got to that camp, we ended up filming a video, which I've shared with you guys several times, that showed what I would call is a jinn. It's literally a being made of fire. And we shared that video. That thing ended up, or I believe it was that thing, ended up killing a whole herd of sheep and goats that we were videoing right there. This all happened the same day. It literally happened the same day. We see a TR-3B. It follows us. We get blasted with like radiation, some sort of directed energy. We both get sick. The dogs get sick. And very weak, and in fact, again, the doctors were thinking that Cindy had leukemia. We used different techniques. We used energy work. We used an ozone machine, and other dietary changes to slowly bring ourselves back to health. But we have been attacked with directed energy weapons, and we know we were, and it was, again, coming from a TR-3B. It literally followed us down the road and blasted us, and it's just bizarre. this is all connected. So, I mean, I think, yeah, all of them are basically being taken out by elements within the secret government, the deep state. You know, again, the surface government's not the real government. This is very, very key to understand. You know, what's the status now? You know, the entity is now defunct when we're talking about the Institute. Their operations halted after her death. So obviously they were successful. They stopped her, you know, literally dead in her tracks. And there's obviously entities that are stopping all these people. Who are they? Well, I would say it's just logical. You look at who would lose the most money. It's again the industries. It's, you know, the gas and oil industry. Again, when you're talking about new medical discoveries, and it's going to be the pharmaceutical industry, it's going to be the medical industry. You know, it's those that hold so much stock in the current status quo and the current structure, and all they want to do. It's just the same thing as like when they legalized Mary Jane, so to speak. What did they do? They had to get in on the market, you know, and then again, they had to alter too. So then you get hybrid, you get GMO Mary Jane, you get that substance that's been laced now with other things, you know, pesticides and sprays. You know, this is just what the system does. It's been caught out, it's been exposed, but it's still in power. That's the main thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just the world that we still live in, and we need to continue to move forward and fight it. And we do truly appreciate all of your support, because we wouldn't be able to do this without you. And that is so true. Without you, there is no us. So we really cannot thank you enough for helping us stay on track and getting this done, because definitely they do try to suppress us like every chance they get. I mean, you should see Mike trying to upload one video, you know, I mean, it can take hours because it just kicks it back and it kicks it back. And there's no reason. We send emails and they're like, oh, well, we're sorry. You know, I mean, there's just no reason for it. There's no reason for it. So, you know, we can't thank you enough, and we appreciate your support, and let's keep on pushing for truth.
Yes, absolutely. And again, we're paving the way for other generations to have expanded freedoms, and you know, also be able to pursue their own interests and be happy. It should be a basic right, but it's not. They tell us one thing, they do another. And again, it's being exposed because it is the apocalypse, the unveiling after all. Much love, much gratitude. Again, we thank you for your support on Patreon, Ko-Fi with one-time donations, and also recurring. This is, again, how we're funding our homestead, with the hopes of, again, getting as self-sufficient as possible. That's always the goal. And we wish you guys peace and love. Namaste.
Namaste.